I ate zebra. I ate zebra liver and kidney when I was in South Africa.
Yeah, I saw
recently.
that video where you shot a zebra.
Yeah, I shot a zebra.
That was heavy.
I wanted to see if I could pull it off. But the liver, it tasted like a horse barn. And so I don't know if that's like manure or like sometimes it can taste, something can taste like the animal's fur. Like if you scratch the animal and smelled it, sometimes it'll have that kind of a flavor to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you watched that video. What'd you think?
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to know what zebra tastes like too, because I know people that have hunted zebra and eaten them, and they said it's very good. And it makes sense. I've had horse before in Montreal.
Yeah.
There's a great restaurant called Joe Beef in Montreal. It's one of my favorite restaurants. And the first time I went there, they served us horse meat. They served us like it was a horse tenderloin. And I was a little weirded out. I was like, whoa. But in Canada, horse is normal to eat. In a lot of parts of Europe, horse is normal. It's a normal food to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're trying to make it illegal here if it's not illegal already. But, I mean, I'm sure you could get it in Texas. It seems like you can get every type of exotic meat here in Texas.
You definitely can get zebra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you get zebra here. You can hunt a zebra here. A friend of mine asked me to shoot a zebra on his property because he has an evil zebra that's killing the younger zebras.
See? They must be cold. Some of them.
That's
some
the
of them.
thing when you talk about animal preservation and wildlife management. One of the things that people who are not in the know must take into consideration is that when you have older males that are no longer viable, so they're not breeding, but they're still dominant. And so they attack the younger males to keep the younger males from coming up and challenging them eventually. And they wind up killing all these younger males. And the only way to preserve the younger male population to keep them healthy is to kill this very aggressive older male. They actually have to do that with rhinos sometimes, even though rhinos are in danger. Like that was the story of, I don't know if you remember that story, but there was a big deal. It was on CNN many years ago where there was an endangered rhino and there was an auction to shoot this rhino because they had to kill it because this one large rhino who was no longer viable was killing younger rhinos. And he had already killed at least 2. And they were very concerned that, they have a small population already. And so the only way to solve this was to either A, move this animal somewhere else or shoot it. And so they decided to auction it off. And I think, what's the gentleman's name? Corey Knowlton. Corey Knowlton, who had been on the podcast before. I actually had him on to talk to him about this. He, I think he wound up paying $250,000 to go over there, and CNN followed him around. But what was really interesting was their perspective was educated. They learned along the way. They're like, okay, we had this idea that people are going over there and they're just shooting a rhino because they're an asshole and they want to take a poster with it or a photo with it rather and put the head on their wall. But there's a lot more to it. And then that money is, that $250,000 is the money that goes to wildlife conservation over there. It goes to protect against poaching. It goes to protect habitat and maintain, the structures and the fences and all sorts of different things they use to keep these animals healthy. But they have higher numbers of all these animals that were at one point in time endangered. They're much higher than they've ever been before, specifically because they're valuable. It can be very conflicting to a lot of people because you think of wildlife conservation as what we need to do is protect their habitat, give them more food, keep people away from them. But that's not really profitable. And the way to make sure that their numbers are high is actually to make them valuable. And the best way to make them valuable is people pay a lot of money to go over there and hunt them, which sounds so counterintuitive.